I'm delighted to see so many familiar faces and so many new faces gathering today in this rainy morning to share together the passion for the Toastmasters. Long time ago, about 1 year ago, when Roberta and Greta, where are you? Told me that maybe we should have a conference in Vilnius. I was thinking, Vilnius? We are Division K of Toastmaster. I am Gabriela Roivainen, the director of Division K. And we cover Finland, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And Vilnius, it's at the end of the map for us. And I was thinking, will we have enough people participating? Will they want to travel so far to come to Vilnius? And look around. We have over 100 participants. This is the biggest ever conference in Division K. And then think that only people from these 4 countries are here. Let's do a little check. Who is here from Finland? Raise your hand. Estonia. Latvia. Lithuania. And even more, Russia. I'm also from Romania, so we are 2.
Yes.
Let's see, one more. Czech Republic. Wow. Spain. Wow. China. Indonesia. What am I missing? UK! India! Who else? Bring us more countries. This is all. Ukraine! One more? Who gives one more? This is all. Imagine so many people traveling from far or close to join us today. And this is all because we have different passions. Each one of you. I was asking and I understood that some of you are passionate about reading, people, helping, speaking, running, poker, beer, engineering, now engineering, witchcraft, witches and zombie. Everyone, family, everyone has its own passion. But we are here together because we are all sharing this passion for Toastmasters. Who does not know what Toastmaster is? Who is the guest here? Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of people. Welcome. So Toastmasters, it's a non-profit organization that provides programs helping people to develop their skills of speaking, listening, and thinking. So we are gathering here today to see the best of the best fighting for the title of Division Champion. And this champion will go in May in Berlin to fight for the title of district champion. And then far away to Vancouver in August to fight for the chamber of speech international champion. And we have the real proof here that this is possible. Please give a hand of applause to Mark Brown, the world champion. We all have different passions and different challenges. I understood that some people had the challenge to choose what they are going to wear for the passion outfit. Was it purple? Was it blue? Was it purple? Was it blue? So I decided to wear something which has purple and blue, so to be on the right, safe side. And here am I. Then I understood that some people had the challenge to choose which hat to wear. So they went to shops and were asking, is this hat good for me, is not good for me? And today they came without the hat, Andre. I didn't understand that it's optional, so I went to a shop to find a hat. And I was telling the shopkeeper, I need a hat for a special occasion. Not a normal one that I can go to buy food with it, for a special occasion. And the lady answered, you know, if you are not the queen, you wear hat only for special occasions, so choose one. So this is how I ended up with my hat today. We have a lot of things in common, and a lot of things which are individual to all of us. But today, we let everything else home. We let our worries home, and we join today to share this passion for developing together. And I would like to share my passion with you for reaching the next level, for dreaming big and reaching the targets. And I would also like to share my gratitude for the team that made this possible. And now, I would like to put all of you hands together and welcome the man who was behind everything what's going to happen for the next 2 days. Please help me welcome Andrew Volkan.
Hello, my name is Andrews, and I'm 30 years old. And today the topic of this conference is passion. And we have 100 people who gathered here today, and 70% of them are Lithuanians and 15% Finns. Do you really think I'm going to introduce myself like that? When the topic of the conference is passion is the new fashion? Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, Mark, Andre, Gabriela, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you. I'm very excited on behalf of the whole team to thank you for coming here today and to decide to spend these 2 days with us. Before we move on with our agenda and before I introduce our first keynote speaker, I've got a list of things that needs to be explained. The first one is that at the registration desk you have received these kind of participant cards. On the back side of it you have a small box here where it says, my passion is. So please spend your time right now or maybe later to put in one word, one activity, one noun, or whatever you think your passion is. Whatever you think your passion is. That's one. Second, we have this whiteboard which has the signs on it, passion is the new fashion. And during the whole conference, I would like all of you to come when you're bored or when you don't have anything to do. Just come to the board, take the marker, and leave a bit of the passion on this board. That's going to be a nice drawing, hopefully, at the end of 2 days, at the end of tomorrow. Also, we will have a word of the whole conference, and I encourage you to use that word today and tomorrow. And I would like just to invite Henrikas for a quick introduction of that word. And that word actually has the history behind, and Henrikas will introduce that. Please.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce today a word of a day. Well, that's not a word of a day. That's a word of 2 days of a whole conference. Please use it. And the word is, actually, the word has a meaning. You know what happens. And this word has at least 2 meanings. And the first meaning is seeking bold risks. You know, like selling all your belongings, taking lottery tickets, buying lottery tickets, expecting to win. Or talking before an audience like this. And the second meaning is being excessively irreverent. Irreverent to your fears, to your instincts telling not to go and speak before an audience. And the word of a day, of a conference is audacious.
Thank you for being so audacious and accepting this role last minute. So, ladies and gentlemen, Vilnius Division K District 99 Conference. Gabriela said that she thought that Lithuania will most likely fail on this conference. But in our mind, we actually rank our region not from the bottom to the south, but from the south to north. So Lithuania and Vilnius come first, and then we have Latvia, and then we have Estonia, and then we have maybe Finland, and the rest of the world. But more importantly, we actually have much more things in Lithuania than Vilnius. And I would like to cheer to hear some people, some voices who come here from Kaunas. And we have some people from Klaipėda. And from Vilnius. Oh, here you come, Klaipėda, come on, please. Guys, still, Andrei, one moment, a couple more minutes. Since today and tomorrow, everything is about passion, I would like all of us to break that passion out of us. And we'll have 2 exercises to break the passion, just to warm up a bit. The first exercise, and let it be a tradition for the whole conference, that whenever you hug a person, you do that with your left hand around the shoulder, not with your right hand, but with your left hand. So I would like all of you to stand up and to make a passionate hug with your neighbors. Break out the passion. Break out the passion. Don't keep it chained with us. The reason for that hand being first is that we need to put our heart to heart together. Thank you guys. Another exercise. Also, let's spend 2 minutes to make another exercise and bring out that passion out of us and start speaking. I would like you just to break in or make small groups of 3 people and spend another 2 minutes to discuss 3 things. You introduce yourself, you share what is that passion that you have, and the third thing I would like you to share in those groups of 3 people is what do you expect from this conference? Okay? So in groups of 3, discuss these 3 things. 3 things. without further ado, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker. And our keynote speaker has given over 2,000 trainings. He surely has passion for what he does. He's the one who loves what he does as a Toastmaster and as a Carnegie Master. One of only 30 Carnegie Masters in the world. Toastmasters International District 95 Quality Director, a great person. I had a chance to spend a couple of hours already with him, and I can assure you that. He comes from Bucharest, Romania, and a big round of applause to Andrei Popescu.
Thank you very much, Andrews. Akshu. So I can start by saying huomenta to our Finnish friends, or I can say labas ritas. My name is Andrei Popescu, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. Before we begin, we thought, it's an early morning. I know the weather is, a bit capricious today, so I thought we should do some sort of a warm-up. We trainers, some of you might be trainers yourself, some of you might be into many trainings, you know that we trainers have ideas that are few and they stick. And one of the few ideas that we have is the fact that people in the morning need to be woken up. So I thought about something which is called karaoke. Now for this, the first thing I'll invite you to do is make sure that your hands are above your waistline for the next 5 minutes. So try not to keep your hands anywhere under. You'll see them in a while. So just, if your hands are on your laps, that's okay. Keep them there. Let's keep our hands above the waistline. What happened is, before everyone walked in, while there was still a bit of commotion in the room, I went around the room, and under 3 seats, I attached a little ball. Not unlike the hands above, hands above. Thank you. That was the idea of keeping our hands above our waistline for the moment. So 3 chips, keeping our hands and not looking. And our heads above our shoulders. Let's do that. So 3 seats have bowls like this one under them. I have prepared 3 songs. So there are 3 lucky people in the room. Heads above our shoulders as well. So I know it's difficult. It's everyone's asking now, is it under mine? Now, I know where they are. Now, the 3 songs are as follows. The first one is by the band called Queen. Second one, if a gentleman gets the second one, he'll be very happy. It's by a lady called Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive. Very nice one for a gentleman to sing. And the third one, I thought since we're in Vilnius, we should go for this one. Now, believe me, it's all legit. I have the lyrics. It's going to be fun if someone from Finland gets this one, or from any of the other countries represented. So, these are the 3 songs, and the way it works is the following. In a minute, not yet, in a minute, I will invite you to check under your seat. So hold your patience yet. The first person who finds the little ball stuck under their seat will get to choose from the 3. The second person has only 2 left, and I think you've already got what happens to the third person. He gets whatever, or she gets whatever's left. So it's going to be a speed kind of exercise. Try let's keep on patient. Are you ready? Okay. It might be, hold on. It might be under your seat. 3, 2, 1. Please check. Ladies and gentlemen, there are no balls under any of the seats. For a moment there, let me tell you one thing. A few months ago, I happened to visit Toastmasters in another division in Copenhagen. And when I said, please check under your seats, one of the gentlemen actually stood up saying, I found the ball! And I was like, ooh. Who put that there? Well, we are passionate. But just, this is not just a having fun kind of thing. Let's imagine for a second, let's zoom in, let's focus on the emotion that we felt. First, the few seconds before checking. And then the few seconds after we saw there was nothing under our seat. So before we actually got to see, got to check, but we were still waiting. What was the feeling that was going on through our heads? Just shout out, what were you feeling at that time?
Stress.
Stress?
I can do
I wanted to find it, yes. Anticipation, what else? I wanted not to find it, yes. Stress? Or curiosity, maybe. The what, sorry? Of course! Especially the third song, right? I actually listened to that song. It's pretty nice. It's got a nice beat to it. So, that feeling was the feeling that we had when we were maybe going to be taken outside of our comfort zone. So let's think about that. It wasn't even sure that we were going to sing. There was a possibility, 1 in 100, or 3 in 100 actually. So there was the chance of us talking, singing, not the certainty, and still there was something in our stomachs. There was some butterflies in our stomach. And what was the feeling after we checked and there was no ball? How about that? Fair enough. Relief for some of us, thank you. So, what's going to happen for many people in this room today and tomorrow is going to be really going outside their comfort zone. So not just thinking about it, not just having the 3 in 100 chance, but actually doing it. Because we're going to have some speakers, some evaluators, we're going to have people who really are going to be out there, and they will need our support. But besides that, as leaders and future leaders, we need to go outside of our comfort zone all the time. Because if we stay within our comfort zone, nothing happens there. So what we're going to talk in the next, maybe 20-odd minutes, is about what we need to do and who we need to be as leaders, which sometimes can be a little bit about outside the comfort zone. Now, some of you who I've had the pleasure of interacting with know that I'm a little bit of a history nerd. And I like to look back at history and try to think, okay, why are things in a certain way? Why do we, when things happen, why do they happen? And 2 examples from history come to mind when I think about things happening pretty fast. One is the Renaissance. For many of us, the Renaissance is an endless series of events going about intertwining each other. But actually, the Renaissance happened within 25 years. I'll skip the song by the way. Between the years of 1492 and 1517, we had Copernicus, this is not Copernicus, this is Columbus, of course. We had Columbus, we had Da Vinci, we had, and this is Copernicus, we had, no, this is Copernicus, this is Michelangelo Buonarroti, that's the one, and finally, this is Martin Luther. So these 5 gentlemen were the ones who actually kick-started, and they all had their activity and the bulk of what they did within 25 years. A more recent 12-year period is interesting as well, and that's the period between 1878 and 1890, when things like the electricity, the telephone, the elevator, the steel skyscraper, the steel structured building, and the mass transit, that's a tramway, by the way, were all happened to be, which basically brought us, within 12 years, the modern city. So, history teaches us that when things happen, they happen pretty fast. And I was recently listening to a CEO of a large organization, of L'Oreal, who said that in the last 3 years, things have changed at a faster pace than in the last 30 years. And it's not stopping here. So the question is, what kind of leaders do we want to be to make sure that we do have, or we have what it takes when the world changes this fast? I had the chance to meet a few years ago a gentleman by the name of Daniel Pink. He's an American writer, he's a lawyer initially, he's a sociologist, and he tried to describe certain things about what makes successful leaders successful. And one of the things I loved about Daniel is that he doesn't talk about very tangible things. And let me tell you what I mean by tangible. Each person is defined by three possible things. Some of us are defined by what we have. It's the outer circle. It's the most obvious thing. Whether it's the clothes that we wear, the house that we have, the car that we drive, or the watch, or the shoes, or anything that we have. So some people will have things. We all have things, because otherwise we wouldn't be here, because if we didn't have something to drive us or clothes to wear. But for some people, have the verb to have is what defines them. It's the success that they have in life. So they judge their success, or lack thereof, by what they have. And that's okay. My father, for example, is a collector. He loves to, his favorite thing is stamps. For the last 35 years, he's collected stamps. And whenever I see him with a new addition to his stamp collection, his eyes shine. And I'm sure that many of us might have something like that, whether it's stamps or something else. So for some of us, what we have is what defines us. For others, it's the verb to do. Which means that the actions that we take, the objectives that we set, and the successes that we have define us. Again, I have a very good friend whose decision, let's say, whose intention is that by the time she's 40, she will have seen all the 4 final games of the Grand Slam tennis championships live. So she wants to go to Paris, London, New York, and Melbourne to actually watch the big ones fight it out in the Grand Slam championships in tennis. And that for her has nothing to do with having, has to do with doing. So to do is what defines her. And then there's the third verb which defines some of us, and that's the verb to be. It's who we are. For example, a very good friend of mine at some point took a decision that he wants the word that defines his entire life to be the word integrity. And he told me that integrity is like, it's like being pregnant. You cannot be a little bit pregnant. You either are or you aren't. Some people feel sometimes that integrity means, I do things in the way that I should do when somebody else sees me. But that's not integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody's there to watch, even if it's just us. So the first thing this gentleman did, and this is something, me coming from an Eastern European country with a history in internet piracy, this was a bit hit for me. The first thing he did, he deleted all the illegally downloaded content from his laptop. So everything that was music, films, software without license, everything, he deleted it. Because he said there's no such thing as a victimless crime. If I want to have integrity, if I want to be a person with integrity, I cannot have illegally downloaded stuff on my laptop. So that's for him. By the way, I'm not advocating that, so if you have, if anyone has this kind of, I'm not asking any questions. So what we have, what we do, and who we are define us. Of course, for some people, one of these three is a little bit more dominant, if you want. It's the one that really defines. It's the one that goes through our life through and through. And now coming back to Mr. Daniel Pink. Daniel Pink said, in this day and age, when things are changing so fast, and history teaches us that it does tend to things happen that way, he said that there are three things that need to define us on the B level. The first thing, he called it attunement, which means the ability to be, or you can use the word awareness as well, but I love the way he used attunement because it gives this kind of like a radio metaphor. So we are tuned in the right frequency. We manage to figure out, what our circumstances are, what the people, or how the people around us react, and therefore how we should try to behave in order to be good leaders. So the good leader is first of all attuned to the world around him and the people around him. The second word he used, I love this one, is buoyancy, which means to be able to float. And the way he said it is, look, we live in a day and age where it feels like we're drowning in an ocean. Things happen all the time. The ability to stay afloat and not sink, so to be buoyant, is the thing that should really define a leader. And last but not least, because there's something called the rule of three, so I should try to respect that. He called it clarity. We come from, in the last 15, 20 years, we've come from a time when we really had to search for information. If we wanted to get information, we had to go out and look for it actively, and sometimes it was difficult. Living behind the Iron Curtain in the late 1980s, I know how difficult it was not to have information at our fingertips. Today, the challenge is not having the information, because it's there. The challenge is to sorting it out, because now we've moved from not having it to being bombarded with it. And so the ability to sort through information and manage to see clearly what is right, what is wrong, what is the information we need and what isn't, then that's the thing that a good leader should do. So A, B, C, autonomy, buoyancy, and clarity are three things, and I love this, I love Daniel Pink's approach to this. There are three things that as leaders we need to demonstrate, but not just from time to time. They need to define us at the B level. To make this a little bit more practical, I connected this, Mr. Pink's ideas, with someone who's a little even closer to my heart. It's a gentleman by the name of Dale Carnegie. Some of you in this room may have heard about him. I've had the chance and the opportunity to work for the Dale Carnegie Training Company for the last 12 years. And Dale Carnegie was well known that in the 1930s, actually published a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is still considered as the foundation stone for many leaders in the world today. One of our proudest moments in the last few years was when Mr. Warren Buffett came with his autobiography. He said in his autobiography that in his office in Omaha, Nebraska, the one certificate, the one diploma that he has on his wall is not a college degree, but it's a graduation certificate from a Dale Carnegie course that he took when he was very young. So, Mr. Carnegie, in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People from 1937, he proposed a number of principles. And I love the simplicity of those principles. He said to people who sometimes contested him, he said that his principles, the Dale Carnegie principles, are what they're called common sense, but not common practice. So it's easy to understand, but not so easy to apply. And these 30 principles that he put forward are so beautifully connected to what Mr. Pink said, to the ABC. So the first one, being attuned. Yeah? Having this attunement and being able to sort out and to be in touch, let's say, with the reality around us. Mr. Carnegie said, first of all, this is in his book, principle number 7, although I put it here as number 1, because it's the first one I'm showing you. But this principle says that we need to be a good listener and encourage the other person to talk about himself or herself. The second one I would add is one that says to try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. And lastly, and this is the one that's sometimes a bit more difficult to me, to talk about our own mistakes before criticizing someone else. Oh, so it says there, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Yeah, I'll see if I can get that a little higher. What I'll invite you to do in the next 2 minutes is without standing up, we're just going to turn to the person next to us. And in 2 minutes tops, let's have a short conversation on 2 questions. Which ones of those principles I find the easiest, the most accessible, and which one for me personally is the more difficult? So the easiest and the more difficult of them. So let's take no more than 2 minutes, and without standing up, let's talk to the person next to us. Easy and hard. 2 minutes, go.
Mane gal pirmas ir trečias. O antras ne visada įsijausti, rasti kitą žmogų, kuriam elgesi, pavyzdžiui, nepritariu, man žiauriai sunku. Aš tavo, pavyzdžiui, čia buvo mano kieme, mano mašinos vakariai. Net ir tai buvo 10 minučių. Tenkinausi, kaimynams nepaskambinau, aš net išvažiavau. Tai, pavyzdžiui, aš niekaip negaliu paleisti, nes aš kad nieko neužsiūdžiu, kad neužsiūdžiau vietų, kad mane visą
Thank you. Now, I would love to hear just 2 thoughts. So who'd like to give us 1 thought in 20 seconds or less? 1 thought from what they talked with their neighbor. Please, Mark.
You mentioned that, number 1, be a good listener. The thing is, my problem is, I'm married. That one was 35 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
Guy problem. My wife has an issue she wants to raise with me. And being the guy, I want to solve it. And she wants me to listen to her. So my hard thing is to shut up and listen.
Fantastic.
And if anybody is, other guys honestly have the same problem, you want to solve it and they want you to listen. Has any women here felt the same way? Don't give me the answer. So listen to me, please. Yeah, right. So it's a guy thing. Please forgive us.
Thank you very much, Mark. I will be asking you to let me move to the next one. The next one, which we talked, was buoyancy. Besides how to win friends and influence people, Dale Carnegie wrote a second book he called How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. I love that book. If he had written it today, he would have named it Stress Management. And the interesting thing is that he wrote it in the early 1940s, when the world was at war. So what a better time to come with a book with something written on how to control our worry. And there's a few principles which I got from that book and I absolutely love. And that's, the first one is, we need to remember that unjust criticism is oftentimes a compliment in disguise. The fact that sometimes when somebody says something about us, which appears critical, but does not have a foundation, is not rooted in reality, usually it's that person trying to say something good about us, but doesn't know how. That's the way. We cannot change the fact that that person criticizes us. We cannot change their behavior. But what we can do is how we react to that, the stress that we get as a result of that behavior. The second one I got is always do the very best we can. I mean, as Toastmasters, the past few months for many of us have been a challenging time, with the district and with each of our divisions. And sometimes we feel the pressure, and it's important to stay afloat. It's important to stay buoyant. And at the end of the day, if we can look in the mirror and say, okay, I know things didn't come out perfectly, but I can say, hand on my heart, I can say I did my best. Honestly, that is something that, for many of us, it can take some of the stress away. For others, it doesn't. Obviously, that's why they're purely principles. And the last one, and I love this one, that we analyze our own mistakes and we criticize ourselves. Which means, before others do it, we need to be honest to ourselves. I think it was, I remember the quote, but I'll have to check the source of that. He said, the secret in life is always to be honest to yourself. I'll have to check the source on that. But the idea is that sometimes if we lie to ourselves and we do not look at our own mistakes, then that is something that for us could be the biggest challenge. And I'm going to move to the third one. The third one, which is having clarity. And here there's two recommendations coming from Mr. Daniel King himself. And he said that we live in a day and age where we need to move from accessing information, and I love this word, to curating information. Like a little bit like a museum owner, a museum curator, who needs to sift through through so much information, so much knowledge, and make sure that what he gives to, in his case, the museum visitors, is the essence and the most correct. Same thing for us. We need to move from that. And also we need to move from having a reactive approach, having a reactive approach in solving the current problems, to identifying potential problems. I mentioned recently about the CEO of a company called L'Oreal. It happens to be one of my clients, and what I do with L'Oreal is I help them through a company culture transformation process, where what they're trying to do is not focus on what's wrong today, because the company is doing well. I mean, thanks to women and men, L'Oreal is doing pretty well. But they're thinking, okay, how about 5 years? How about 10 years down the road? Similarly, Toastmasters is going through such a process as well. The board of directors, and some of you, if you come to the Berlin conference in 3 weeks, you will have the chance to meet one of the international directors, a member of the Toastmasters board of directors. The board of directors is thinking, how is Toastmasters going to be relevant in the next 20 years? And that's why now we're changing the Toastmasters education program, moving from what we have today, so we don't just try to solve the problems of today, but we change it altogether, trying to make it relevant to the world in the next 15, 20 years. So, I'm going to start wrapping it up. Sometimes people go to either a leadership training or read a book, because there are plenty of them, and then they start changing little bits. For example, the listen principles. Be a good listener, encourage the other person to talk about themselves. And they say, okay, I have a meeting, whether it's a club meeting, whether it's a team meeting. During that team meeting, I'm going to listen really, really carefully. But then in the rest of the time, I don't. Then in the meeting, people are going to say, what's wrong with Andre? He went to that training, I think they brainwashed him. And then 2 hours or 2 days later, when I come back to the regular self, they're going to say, okay, there he is. He's back. So the key thing is that we don't change just the behavior from time to time, but we slowly make these changes so that they change who we are. And we get to be not just a person, not just someone who listens from time to time, but a person who listens. So having attunement to the people around us, having the buoyancy, so ability to keep ourselves afloat in this ocean of not so easy life that we sometimes go through, and having the clarity of the information. These are things that will change on the B level, which really help us become better leaders. Now, I'm going to end with a very, very short story. And it's less a story, it's more a parable if you want. Two monks were walking down a road one day, a dusty country road. And there are two monks which took a vow, not just a vow of silence, but a vow of chastity. So not talking to women or interacting with women in any way. And as they were walking, they saw in a river, in a fast-flowing river, a woman drowning. One of them stopped, didn't know what to do, but the other one didn't think about it. Took off his clothes, jumped in the river, saved the woman, put her down, and then went on his way. They continued the rest of the journey in silence, and then silence, and then a few days of silence more, and then after about a week, the monk who faltered, the monk who hesitated, said to the other one, "Look, I cannot stay silent anymore. How could you do that? How could you break your vow and touch that woman?" And the first monk said, "You know, I took her in my arms, I carried her, and I put her down. You are still carrying her." For many of us, sometimes being a good leader, changing that who we are, might mean putting down something that we don't even know we're carrying. So let's try, both over the next 2 days and over the next weeks, to find out what are those things that we need to put down in order to be the kind of leaders that we can be. Anders.
As I mentioned before, we have these cards, right? So I was wondering, what is your passion?
My passion is music. I love playing, I love listening to music, and as often as I can I play. And for me, music is what gives me balance in life. So that is my passion.
But we will have some more presents, and I would like to give out one present right now to all of you. The way we're going to do it, the first thing, let me introduce the present. The present is the book written by Mark Brown and other 4 co-writers, right? It's about Speaker's Edge, Secret and Strategies for Connecting with Any Audience. At the back of the room you have much more of these books which you can buy, and if you want to buy them, please go to Brigita. We're going to give out for free. Who that lucky guy or girl will be decided by Andrei. Andrei, I would like you to give me a random number from 1 to 110. It can be your shoe size, it can be your number of cars or car plate.
Except 27.
Except 27, exactly.
I'm going to say 56.
So 56, guys, who has this lucky number on your card? Number 56? How are you today?
I'm fine, feeling good.
And what is your passion?
My passion is poker, playing poker.
Hopefully you're going to find some strategies in this book. Guys, don't get too disappointed because there will be many more gifts for you. And just look at that number, maybe you can attract some good vibes, and the next number which will be drawn will be your number. A bit more of the practical things. Kaspar, could you put on the screen actually the registration link? After the conference, starting at 5 o'clock, we will have a guided tour, which all of you are invited to, and that will start at 5 o'clock. We will provide some more details about the transportation from this room. The guided tour will start from the Vilnius Cathedral, the very center, and the theme of the guided tour is the legends of Vilnius. So please open that link through the QR code, or there is also a short link. Well, it's not very convenient, but somehow, whenever you have 3 minutes, or whenever you're bored with a speech, just go online and tick the box if you will be participating in that guided tour at 5 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock we will have a dinner at Uncle Sam American Pub. All the details you can actually find in the agendas which you received at the registration desk in those packs. Okay? I will repeat that information later on, so if you miss it, don't worry too much. And now, we will be starting the international speech contest. Because we have a big duty today. We have 5 contestants coming from all over the Baltic Sea region, Lithuania, Latvia, and Finland. And we have a big duty to select the best one. The winner, who we will delegate to the next round, and the next round of competition will take place in Berlin in about 1 month. So 5 speakers, I will introduce them a bit later, and before that I have a bit more instructions about the rules of the competition. One fun fact, did you guys know that Toastmasters, this organization is actually, it has been established some 90 years ago or a bit more, and we have 90 world champions, and one of them is today here with us. But besides my ground, we have 90 other world champions, and did you know that none of those 90 world champions come from Europe? So hopefully we will select the right one today, and we will delegate that guy who will go to Berlin and later on to Vancouver to represent our region in the World Championship. So let's start with the rules then. Each speaker will, as I said, we will have 5 speakers, and each speaker will have a time limit, 5 to 7 minutes to complete their speech. The timers will be sitting here and will be giving signals, green, yellow, and red, 5, 6, 7 minutes. The contestants and the judges have certified their eligibility. The contest chair, which is me in this case, and the chief judge, which is Gabriela, have confirmed the eligibility of the contestants and the judges. Okay? Okay, these proceedings are designed to ensure that we run for a fair contest, and that each contestant is given a fair playing field on which they compete. We have several very important rules right now. Please turn off your phones or put them on a silent mode, all of you, please. The second rule is that we cannot take any pictures while the contestant is here on stage performing his speech. While he's preparing, or we are having a minute of silence, you can take pictures, but not when someone is performing on stage. And the third rule is that you should also refrain from leaving the room and entering the room, especially when a contestant is speaking. So we don't want to bother them with all these kind of distractions. As a contest chair, I attest that all contestants have been briefed, are present, and are ready to proceed with the competition. Gabriela, our chief judge, have all the contest officials been briefed and are ready to proceed with the contest? Very good. And as I mentioned, after every speaker, when a speaker finishes the speech, we will have a minute of silence. And by a minute of silence, I really mean a minute of silence. Timekeepers, could you please signal me when that minute of silence is over? So we will invite then the next contestant. We have drawn the speaking orders which you can see here on the screen. And now one thing that we need to rehearse, and that is very important, is the way we're going to introduce and welcome every speaker on stage. So we're going to do it this way. I will announce the name of the speaker, then the title of the speech. Then that person will be coming from behind of the room on this stage, and during that moment we will be applauding, cheering, and doing all other kinds of sounds and stupid signs. When the speaker is here on stage and the applauses are finished, I will introduce the speaker once again, and then the speaker goes. So, can you actually rehearse that? Monte, let's assume you are the speaker. So the way it goes, I say that our next speaker, hold on, our next speaker is Mantas Lipnitskas. I am a test speaker. And then I go, I am a test speaker, Mantas Lipnitskas. And that's it. He goes, no more applause or anything like that. Like that. When he finishes, a round of applause for another 5 to 6 seconds. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's wish good luck to our contestants. And without further ado, I invite our first contestant, Anissa Rantanen. Success is not a matter of luck. Success is not a matter of luck. Anissa Rantanen.
Your success depends on you. Your happiness depends on you. You have to steer your own course where you want to go. You have to shape your own fortune. Because success and happiness is for you and from you. Contest master, fellow toastmaster, and welcome guests. We may often hear or ourselves say that when someone has reached their goals, when someone reached their dreams earlier than us, we say they are luckier than us. They are just lucky. When someone has reached their destination into a successful life, and we are still staying in our place, and we say, she or he is lucky, and I'm not. In this situation, actually, we are just making an excuse. Because success and happiness has nothing to do with luck. Success and happiness is something that we can create, something that we can earn, and something that we deserve. Success and happiness belong to everybody in this world, regardless of their background, regardless of their intelligence, and regardless of who they are. Many people from poor family become successful people in this world. Many people from low education become the most successful people in this world. And so many people who has disability also become successful people in this world. As a real example, anybody in this world who has connected to internet or TV knows who Nicholas James is. He has no legs, he has no hands, but look at him right now. He became one of the most successful speakers in this world. And he became one of the most inspiring men in this world. So, is he came into that stage because of luck? No. He worked for it. He earned it and he deserved it. And today, I'm standing here in front of 100 great people Am I came here by luck? Of course not. Let me bring you to my journey of life. When I was 3 years old, my father passed away. And I had to become a ping pong balls who ping and pong here and there to live with my grandma, live with my aunt, until one day that my mom has a new husband and 3 kids, and she took me to help her to take care of the kids. And one day, when I was secondary school, in the second class, they are fighting each other all the time because I need to pay my tuition fee. In Indonesia, school, even it's primary school, you have to pay still. They are like fighting each other and saying, this is your responsibility. No, he is not my daughter, it's not my responsibility. I heard it every day. Then I put in my heart, I decided, yes, it's not their responsibility, it's my own. So I decided to go to Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia. I worked as a housemaid. For 3 years, I worked as a housemaid. People may call it a slave. And then one day, early in the morning, I pick up the newspaper. And look at that. Wow. A big opportunity for me to work in the internet cafe. Because in the requirement, they don't have need any education for it. Why internet cafe? Because back in the days, only wealth family and only wealth family who can have computers and can have access to internet. So this is my opportunity. Because from the internet, I can learn something. I can educate myself. During my work in the internet cafe, my life was so hard because mathematically, the income couldn't cover my monthly expenses. Nobody knows I have to be fasting for 4 days in a week in regard to save money. And nobody knows I have to buy a instant noodle in regard to save money. So, my life wasn't that lucky, even though my friends often say that I'm lucky. During my work in the internet cafe, I learned so many things. I learned Microsoft Offices, I learned languages. One of them is English. If you know MRC, if you still remember the chat room, I entered into an English room. When I don't understand that LOL, I ask someone in the internet cafe, my customer. It's a little kid. Hey boy, do you know what LOL means? He was like, come on, I need your help. He said, it's laugh out loud. Oh, okay, thank you. And then, after I managed to educate myself, after I managed to get a new job as an administration in the rubber company, I met my friend, my old friend who are a housemate in the same household with me before. Anissa, look at you. Look at you now. You are not slave anymore. You are not a housemaid anymore. You have a decent job and you can continue your study. I said, this time I won't say, I won't let you to say because I'm lucky. No, my friend. I earn it. I create this. So I deserve it. Fellow Toastmaster and welcome guests. We can't choose where we born. We can't choose from which family we born. But we can choose to be who we are in our future. Thank you.
you. Our second contestant, Pekka Kanerva, handicaps, real and imagined. Handicaps, real and imagined, Pekka Kanerva.
When I was 8 years old, I loved football. However, my mother didn't, especially after I smashed a kitchen window. And that's when they sent me to a football summer school. It was a tough call for me, because I was a shy kid. And none of my friends were there. I was alone. And I would have needed someone to lean on, someone that we adults call a mentor. Mr. Contest Master, fellow mentors. The first day of the summer school, we had a penalty kick shootout. And when I was preparing for my kick, I became nervous because I was afraid of everyone watching me. And I was afraid of being the center of attention because I could make a mistake. And when I finally tried to kick the ball, I lost my balance and I fell down on the ground like Charlie Brown in the cartoon. And I didn't just miss the goal, I even missed the ball. I was sure that I would never have the courage again to try a penalty kick. However, this didn't make my love for football disappear anywhere. I trained hard that whole summer. And the last day of the football school, the team took a bus to play against another team in another suburb, and we won the game. And after the game, the coach had a surprise for us. An award for best player for the whole summer. And the award was a brand new football. The coach called my name. I would have been so proud to receive that football. Except that I wasn't there that day. I stayed home. I'd been too shy to hop on that bus. And the football was given to someone else instead, and I only heard about it afterwards. I was once again defeated, not by an opponent, but by my fear of being at the center of attention. And I still didn't have a mentor who could guide me through this issue. A couple of years later, my brother, my big brother, had become the national champion in judo. And he told me, I can teach you some judo. And I said, would you really? Sure, I have a secret weapon which you could use. Wow! I admired my brother and I felt comfortable having him as my coach. So he became my Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I became Luke Skywalker. I was already dreaming about becoming the hero of the neighborhood with a secret weapon. Until the first judo class, when my brother told what the secret was. He said, in judo, you can do things in two different ways. The right way or the left way. And we are going to make you left-handed. I said, we gonna what? And he said, you know, in judo they force everyone to become right-handed. And you, as the only left-handed guy, will have an advantage against everyone else in the contest. I was confused. But as I admired my brother, I decided to give it a try. And after a lot of sweat, some blood and some tears, I entered the regional championships. And with the secret weapon, to our astonishment, I was able to make it all the way to the finals. And at the beginning of the final fight, I could again feel everyone's eyes focusing on me, just like in the football games. And the fear started kicking in. But this time, there was something different. Now the most important eyes for me were the encouraging eyes of my brother. And I could hear his advice in my head. When the fight starts, attack the other guy before he gets going and try to throw him down immediately. And this is exactly what I tried, and to my surprise, the guy lifted off and landed like a beanbag. And the referee shouted, 10 points, game over, winner Pekka Skanervas. And the audience was applauding like a bunch of Toastmasters. And this is what a good mentor can do for you. And this is what you can do to a mentee. Because my brother didn't just help me to win the trophy. He helped me to reconcile with my past. He helped me to recover the football that I missed when I was 8 years old. And that, fellow Toastmasters, made all the difference. Thank you.
Thank you. Our third contestant, Davis Golds. Thank you. Thank you, Davis Golds.
Swimsuit season is right round the corner, and I, like many of you, am trying to get in shape. I looked over the internet to find a few tips, and most of the articles were like, 7 quick ways to get in shape. Number 6 will surprise you. I looked through at least a dozen of these, and I understood that the internet wants me to make a list. A list of all the things standing between me and my goals. And so I did so. I spent an hour writing that list, and yet I found that my list had only one item. There was only one thing standing between me and the perfect body. my grandmother. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I once visited my grandmother and gained 5 kilograms in 4 hours. I realized afterwards that I forgot my keys. I had to return upstairs. I gained 2 more kilograms. She serves me 4 snacks, 3 main courses, 2 desserts, and afterwards comes to see me and says, "You worry me. You eat so little." And yet, I still manage to find my last strength to say, "Thank you." Because to me, it doesn't matter how fat I get, I will always be grateful to my grandmother. You see, gratitude is the closest we humans will ever get to having magic powers. A simple thank you can quickly make people feel appreciated, and it can make you appreciate the things that you already have. Nothing compares to the happiness my grandmother gets when I thank her. Oh, she lights up like a Christmas tree and her eyes turn into stars. And isn't that what we all want? To feel like our work has meaning. We live in this vast interconnected world. Think about anything currently on your person. Your clothes, any piece of technology. Hundreds of people had to work together so that little bit can get to you. And the opposite is true as well. Your daily work influences hundreds, if not thousands of people. And yet, so many of us feel like our lives have no greater meaning. We feel like our work doesn't have a greater purpose. A few weeks ago, I went to my local shop. And in checkout number 2 was a shy girl who never smiles. Never. She has a Milky Way of freckles on her cheeks and a badge that says, "I am learning." Me too. Learning to be grateful. So I took her aisle, and afterwards, after paying, I looked at her and waited until she looks back at me. And as her eyes met, I said, "Thank you." As if she had just saved my life. And at first she was startled. But later on, I saw her smile for the first time. She smiled wider than the Cheshire Cat. And it felt like hundreds of people that day had said thank you to her, but I was the first one who was grateful. A simple and heartfelt thank you can show people that what they do matters, that their lives matter, their work matters. And that's why I'll never stop thanking my grandmother. Her very essence is to cook. She loves to cook, and feeding her grandchildren gives her immense joy. So I say thank you because I love her. I say thank you because I love to see her happy. I say thank you because she will die. In the end, it doesn't matter how often I thank her. One day, she will be gone, and I'll have no one to say thank you to. Most things in life are very fragile, very temporary. And it doesn't matter how hard you grip them, they will slip out of your fingers like mist. Being grateful is not about being popular, about being liked. Being grateful isn't even about being a better person. Being grateful is about being able to appreciate all the things that you currently have, not just the ones that you may someday get. It's about seeing all the treasures that are given to you on a daily basis and appreciating the people who helped you get them. the internet can go to hell. I didn't need a list of things keeping me back, a list of barriers. What I needed was the complete opposite. Now when I come back from home after a long day's work, as I lay in my bed those very few seconds before I close my eyes and drift into sleep, I think of one thing I'm grateful for that day. And the next morning as I wake up, I write that thing on a list on my wall. And I urge every single one of you to do the same. Make a list of all the things you're grateful for, all the things you've achieved and received from others. And as you look at that long list, I promise you, you will be happier than the girl at checkout number 2. And I know gratefulness is hard. I know we get busy, I know we get forgetful. But it doesn't matter how forgetful I get. I will not stop thanking my grandmother for her meals. I will not stop enjoying the smile it puts on her face. And I will not stop saying those 2 magic words. Thank you.
A minute of silence, please. Thank you. Our fourth contestant, Greta Šiaučiūnaitė. Is it normal to be normal? Is it normal to be normal? Greta Šiaučiūnaitė.
Do you think I'm normal? Dear Condition, mostly respected judges and other normal people. Is it normal to be normal? 1995. Walls are painted with animals, pencils and crayons are spread on coloring books. My friends are playing with their dogs and dolls and toys and everything, and I'm trying to conquer the world. The world of kindergarten. Being 4 years old, I got 2 strong stereotypes in my head. Firstly, that boys hate girls, and secondly, that boys hate playing with dolls. But wait. One day, when I was sitting on a red round rack, I was struggling to dress up my doll, and one kindergarten boy approached me and offered his help. I was so pleased. He was so generous. So a rapid thought conquered my mind. I need to kiss him. And I did it. It felt great. From that moment on, I have decided that whenever I see a person I feel grateful, happy, or excited about, I have to hug and kiss him. It looks like that. I see the person, you, for example. I go for him. I run for him. I grab him. It was not that easy to grab 4 years old. They're running fast. So I grab him, I hug him, and I kiss
teenage girl who is always energetic and loving life, and I love kindergarten. And then one day, the kindergarten teacher stood up in front of the whole crowd and angrily stated, "Greta, girls should be modest. You shouldn't behave like that." I asked her why. She said that it's not normal. Nobody explained me why it was not normal. Nobody explained me what was normal. So looking at 30 judging eyes, the room was not that bright anymore. I became shy, closed, and scared girl. And you know, no wonder why, during the school years, I couldn't find the place under the sun. But the inner life and inner drive for everything around woke up. It woke up. In university years, of course. And you know, university years kick in usually. Some parties, some studying. Some parties, some studying. You remember what I learned in kindergarten, right? What I was doing. So in university years, it was even harder. Anyway, I joined a Greek organization called Isaac. And I adored everything about it. The values, the activities, people, everything. I really saw the meaning in what we were doing there. So after 1 year, I became a team leader and got the chance to lead an amazing project which has never happened in Lithuania. A cool idea to be excited about. So I spread my happiness again around. Until one day, during one of the meetings where all team leaders gathered, one person stood up and said, "Greta, leaders should be serious. You shouldn't behave like that." I asked why. Because it's not normal. Nobody explained me why it was not normal. Nobody explained me what was normal. And you think I again became close, shy girl? No. Worse. I became angry, bossy, concentrated only to myself and on negative emotions. It took me so long. It took me maybe 2 or 3 years when I realized that I don't want to behave like that anymore. I don't want to be serious because they ask. It took me so long to realize that I don't want to live like that. I don't want to lead like that. And I don't want to be that girl, that serious girl with the nickname of Hitler. It might so funny now, but the reality was hard. And I am happy that even after 3 years I chose another path to get back to being me. And here I am with Toastmasters, an organization and a community where we all can be ourselves, right? So 14th of January, 9th birthday of my club. I was on stage sharing one of the most important and emotional speeches for me, a toast to my dad. It all went well. I got back home, I started reading the comments, and one comment catched my attention a lot. It said, "I assume you are the president of the club. As a president, you shouldn't tell silly jokes about beer, and you shouldn't share your silly stories, because it's not normal." Did I hear that before? My heart started beating, I felt my hand shaking, and I was like, yeah, I heard that before, at least 2 times in my life. But this time I decided that I don't want to play the same scenario for the 3rd time again. Because what's normal for you guys might not be normal for me. Isn't that normal? And normal is about meeting stereotypes. But who defines those stereotypes? We have to be every day a normal wife, a normal husband, a normal child, a normal wife, I don't know, a normal employee or normal leader. But then do we have time for ourselves, for our normal? I decided this, that if you see me laughing out loud, if you see me wearing sneakers on the stage, if you see me dancing in the street, or just moving around with a happy face, accept me, enjoy me if you want. Because instead of being normal for everybody else, I choose to be amazing me. Dear Kondasher.
Thank you. Our fifth contestant, Martin Ilvesmäki, Chasing Rainbows. Chasing Rainbows, Martin Ilvesmäki.
I want you to think back in time when you were a kid. Did you dream what you would become as a grown-up? Would you become a fireman, a teacher, or perhaps a doctor? I also used to be like this. Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters and friends. I remember when I was just a small little boy, when I decided that I wanted to be just like my TV hero, Bob the Builder. So I went to the garage, got my dad's tools, and started an awesome renovation project to my sister's dollhouse. Too bad for her, I lost my interest at halfway, when the entire building had been torn down. The next day, I decided that now I wanted to be a great artist. So I grabbed a bucket of paint and brush with me and painted the finest piece of art ever made to our living room wall. To my parents, I was not Bob the Builder or a great artist. I was a walking disaster. Even though I might have been a bit reckless as a small boy, I didn't mean anything bad to anyone. I was just being curious, and I remember that if I saw a rainbow in the sky, I would go after it to find the treasure at the end of it. When we're all kids, life is magical and easy like this. Until something happens. Life happens. And life happened to me when I was 9 years old. I was at 3rd grade, and we were sitting in our classroom. That day, we were to present a book review out in front of the class. Now, I loved reading books, so when my turn came up, I was quite happy and excited to give my report. But as soon as I started, I trembled on my very first verse and forgot what I was supposed to be saying. A classmate of mine took a quick notice of this.
Look, his hands are shaking, and his face, it's all red. I bet he doesn't even know how to speak properly.
Needless to say, the whole class burst out laughing. And tears in my eyes, I returned to my seat. I was crushed. My first public speech was a pivotal moment in my life. It shaped my personality. I became a shy kid who would not talk much. And deep inside, I was still afraid of laughter of others. I was afraid that no one would ever like me. Gone was the white kid chasing rainbows. Life went on after this incident, but the fear of losing my face followed me. I became a people pleaser. I was willing to do anything so others would think I'm cool. So I changed my dear hobby of reading books to smoking cigarettes. And I started to hang out only with the people I perceived to be cool people. And I even listened to them carefully and chose what they told me to be the best subject to study, which was BTW, mechanical engineering. I was living in a state of constant worry and fear, trying to please others. Until one day, it all changed. A friend of mine had read an interesting book, and he wanted me to read it too. It was an American self-help book, and I gave it a shot. The story of it deeply touched me. The message of this book was, take responsibility of your own life. This is your life, and if you want it to be great, you better make it great. The book also said that when you're going through an enormous life change, you better surround yourself with like-minded people who help you out when things get rough. After I was done with the book, I felt this weird, shivering feeling in my body that I had not felt in years. I felt like I was going after the rainbow once again. I knew that it was time to do something, and it didn't take me long to find this group of like-minded people. People who practice the art of public speaking. Soon I joined their family, and when I finally summoned my courage and got on stage to give my first speech, I made a great discovery. I loved to perform. There, on that stage, I had found my treasure. I've learned that no matter what, life will happen to you. And the trick is that when it does, when it takes you down to the ground and you sit in the mud pit, it is up to you if you decide to stay down there. But it is also up to you if you decide to get up. To get up and wipe the dust off your shoulders and surround yourself with the greatest people and continue your journey to the end of the rainbow.
A minute of silence, please. Yes, and please, judges, finish your votes, and ballot counters, please collect votes. Can we please keep the silence? Do we have all the votes collected? Are we fine, Gabriela? Thank you. So guys, let's finish those 2 minutes of silence now. And let's congratulate and let's meet our contestants once again. One by one, we will present the certificates of participation and we will have a short interview with them. We had 5 contestants, but the thing is that 2 of them, Dalis and Greta, they will be competing tomorrow in the evaluation contest as well. So we will only interview 3 of our friends from Finland. So the first one, I would like to present the certificate of participation to Dalis Golds. The certificate of participation goes to Greta Shevchuhede. The next certificate of participation goes to Anissa Rantanen. Since you're here now, so how do you feel after the speech?
I feel good that I can share my experience of life. So even maybe I made a mistake in my speech by my English or anything, but I didn't regret about it because
Your English was very good and you did not make any mistake because I was listening carefully to what you were saying.
That I can share my experience of life, and I hope that I can inspire anybody here.
Anissa, when I saw your biography,
Yeah.
I saw Indonesia and then I saw Finland. Why?
Well, that's my life journey, starting from Indonesia from scratch and fly to Finland to be a hero.
I suggest it because I think you can become a hero much faster if you come to Lithuania.
Well, because I need something other than only a hero there, which is family, love.
You also mentioned in your bio, precisely, you have one little boy, 2 years. How old? How many months? 2 years and how many months?
2 months and 11 months. His name is Benjamin Nicodemus Rantanen. I chose Benjamin because I thought he became a Benjamin Franklin.
Well, you never know. He still has some years to achieve that. And he still has a few years to achieve that. And the interesting thing is that you quoted that your favorite quote is dream it, believe it, and achieve it. So I'm pretty sure that if you move to Lithuania, he will achieve that. Anissa, thank you very much for being with us. The next certificate of participation goes to Pekka Kanerva. Let's see, a football man, a wrestler, and many other things. But the interesting thing from his bio, what I read, the way he describes himself. And he says, I am an introvert who loves public speaking. How is that possible? Please explain.
I think that explains it all. I guess most of us are introverts because if we didn't have a problem, all these eyes watching us and being afraid of being at the center of attention, maybe we wouldn't have to be here. I think this is sort of a club for introverts.
You have many hobbies: sports, languages, reading, blogging, travel the world, etc., etc. Tell us a bit more about blogging. What do you write about?
I think I once written about public speaking. Normally I write about topics like regarding marketing or sales or customer experience and all kinds of stuff that is much more boring than public speaking. So yeah, it's just stuff that, this is much more interesting actually, I think.
What is your passion?
My passion, what I wrote there was learning languages.
How many of them you know?
I've studied 8 languages, and I'm sorry to say that in this country you have a language that is, I know many languages, but this is beyond me.
Back to you. I think your grammar is a lot more complicated, and your words are twice as long as ours. So, what was the recent language that you learned?
The last one was Portuguese.
Tudo bem.
E você?
And the next certificate of participation goes to Marti Ilnesmaki. So how do you feel after the competition?
Relieved.
Are you happy with your performance? You satisfied?
Quite happy. I think it always could go better, but it was okay.
I thought you did very great. Speaking about you, a quote I'm quoting now from your bio, which it says, "The higher I practice, the luckier I get." Isn't that a bit cynical? Don't you believe in magic?
Of course I believe in magic and rainbows and unicorns like I was talking about. But yeah, I noticed like when I was a kid, I always admired people who were really good, and I was thinking like, wow, they're really lucky. And when I met actually some of these people, I noticed they work a lot. Like it's not magic after all, even though it seems like.
Your inspiration, read life Cinderella stories. Tell us one.
One real life Cinderella story. Okay, my favorite one is from America. One guy who was cleaning zoos and was dreaming about of becoming one day a screenwriter and an action movie star. And he was watching one day what is this boxing match, and he got inspired and wrote a great script. And he had to sell it out like to movie studios, but like he contacted like 200 of them, and finally one of them got it, and this movie is known these days as Rocky, and he was Sylvester Stallone, so he really rose from bottom to the like top cast of actors ever. That's my Cinderella story.
What is the passion that you wrote on the back of your card?
I wrote their storytelling because I always loved stories since I was a kid, and when I came to Toastmasters, I was first thinking it's about speaking to others, then I realized everyone's telling stories, and that's what's most interesting and fascinating to hear, and I think that's the thing that inspires all of us.
I agree with you. Martin, thank you for being with us, but don't leave the stage just yet, and I will invite all of the participants for a picture. A quick picture. Let's come closer, guys, and thank you. Before we go for lunch, are we now good to go for lunch? What do you say? Are you ready to go for lunch? Oh, yeah, Mark. It's a very good idea. Let's do it right now? Let's try. Guys, I'll tell you the story. Yesterday, me, Brigitta, Greta, Mark, and Andrei, we were sitting in coffee shop, and there is a random guy with long hair and guitar, and the earphones coming to us and saying, guys, what are you talking about here? And it turns out that he's a musician. He plays music, classic music. And we did invite him here just to perform for you over the break. So welcome.
Hear it? Let's start with a song I learned by myself like a year ago. I like it because it's interesting. It has a certain theme, sort of Spanish. Listen. sort of Italian vibe, I'd say, but it's also kind of Spanish in a way. I'm really sure. Both songs are Spanish.
A big round of applause for Noel. Vilnius, because he's young, he's vibrant, he takes courage, he's audacious. He's absolutely audacious. Please welcome Noel. Guys, are you hungry now?
Yes.
So shall we proceed now to the cafeteria, which a bit of instructions. We take our coats. You might want to take it, you might not want to take it, because we have to walk maybe 1.5 minutes or maybe maximum 2 minutes to another place. There will be some people guiding you to the cafeteria, but I'm not going to take my coat with me, but if you, someone who is coming from Spain, right? From Lithuania with a t-shirt, very nice. And guys, those of you who registered to eat vegetarian food, and those of you who did not register to eat vegetarian food, don't touch vegetarian food, alright? We'll be back in 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half.
That I know for you, called Toastmasters. And And there you can practice and get feedback on all sorts of toasts, and wishes, and speeches. Also, you get your own guide for your journey to public speaking. And, best of all, you get a community of like-minded individuals who will help you along the way. If you've ever looked at a leader or a great speaker and admired their speech, then this Wednesday at 7 o'clock, come see how these speakers are doing.
Wow.
Was the elevator speech brief? Great? Was it convincing? Great. Was it clearly structured? Relevant to the target audience? All three. Excellent. All quality. The first one we gave was 6. The last one was the 9. The last one I didn't. None of them won the spot.
The minute is up. So, we've just listened to 5 elevator pitches that are devoted to Toastmasters intentionally. Now, we're going to, come to the ballots already? Now we're going to count the voices and identify the winner. Not all, yeah, that's right. While Larissa is counting, I would invite all the rest who wanted to participate, who's not shy enough, who's audacious enough. These voices will now be counted, so sorry about that because that would take too much time. But in case you still want to deliver the speech, you are mostly welcome. Let's do this because Larissa needs some time. Right, come here.
Carl. Yes.
Carl. Good. Your situation?
Number 4.
Oh. Okay. Give me.
Get somebody to do the time.
Yeah, I'll do this.
All right, we've got a time here. Good. Madam President, fantastic to see you here. We have I understand here in Lithuania, we have a situation because our leaders are not heard enough. And I've understood that partly from you I've understood that it is because the English they speak, they're not confident enough in speaking English in front of us. Right? So, what if we would have a solution for you? A solution that the Americans are using themselves. I mean, they're not born leaders, they're not born talkers. In the Silicon area, there are 400 Toastmaster clubs. So, and there are Toastmaster clubs here in Lithuania as well. What would you say if we would suggest to make it compulsory for leaders in the leaders coming up for you, to join it and to get a certification from it? And that would make it possible for you to go and lead, make it audacious enough, go and lead in Brussels.
Wow, sold. Come here. Sorry, guys. Number 3, officer. Ready? Go.
Hi Valeria, great to see you. I remember when you joined Toastmasters, you told me you want to do 3 things. You want to learn new things, you want to develop in your career, and you want to help other people. Now, after your 6 speeches, I have seen that you are a great speaker and you have great potential for future. And I think now is the right time for you to become a member in the board, the Vice President of Education. Because there you can learn about management skills, which will help you not only to learn, but in your career, and especially you get to help people as a mentor. What do you say?
That was a selling pitch, right? And the last but not least, come on. Situation number 2. Oh, nice. Ready?
Do you think your investment should be handled better? Would you like to trust people you can trust your finances more? Actually, that's a global problem, finding the right people. And we can help you in this, because we are an international organization that grows people's communication and leadership skills. Actually, our slogan is where leaders are made. And our proposal for you is we take your 6 top managers and grow the leadership skills in a period of 1 year. What we ask you to finance our new club in a period of 1 year. It would cost you a mere 150,000 euros. That's a big deal. What do you think?
Is this the last person? Okay, can we get 1 more minute? All right, let's do this. Number 1, right?
It is number 1, yes. Valeria, you look a little bit stressed. I know that you're going to defend your thesis, right? No problem. If you know 80% of students, 20% of students actually say only 80% of what they know and what they can't say because of the fear. Don't tell anyone, but we have this underground organization that actually has a special recipe for people to deal with this fear. So once again, don't tell anyone, but we're having a secret meeting this Wednesday, 7 o'clock, just there in the underground.
Now, it is time to announce the results. We actually counted only first 5 presenters. So, and I have a small present. So, okay. And the winner is... Situation number 5. Can I ask you a small question? Do you think in teams this elevator creation of the elevator pitch was more successful than we work alone on it, which is more productive?
Well, I think you have
Okay.
I think you have a lot of time, and it's very productive in teams. But in 10 minutes, you try to pinpoint every single thing, how everything should work, and what the situation should be. So it gets a little messy, but we managed.
Yeah, we did. Actually, you did. You made a perfectly structured speech. So that's pretty much well deserved. Once again, congratulations to your team. We're drastically out of time, guys. I'm really sorry, but I hope you enjoyed this small team workshop. And let the elevators always ride you up and only up. Thank you so much.
A big round of applause for Valeria. I enjoyed it so much because that was probably the 20 minutes I just sat there, I was listening, and I thought nothing, just enjoyed this interactive session of yours. Thank you very much. What is your lucky number? Not your lucky number, but I mean, personally, maybe the date when you were born, or...
Really? Never thought about this. That is 20.
Do we have a lucky number in the audience who have a lucky person in the audience who has a number 20?
What about 56?
No 20? No 20?
Okay, probably.
This is the gift. This is the Toastmasters International Tumbler. A cup.
That number.
20?
No, I have.
Sorry, that means you don't have a number. What is the month that you were born?
Oh, that's not fair.
Why?
Because we first
No, I'll do the math. I'm just giving you a number.
That's March.
So 3. 3 times 20, and we have 60. Anyone has 60? All right, and then the day of the month that when you were born.
Saturday.
All right, Saturday, 6. So we 60. Would you like me to subtract or add 6 now? Divide. Let's divide it by 6, and we get number 10. Anyone in the audience has number 10? Yeah! And I see you come from Finland, right?
Yeah, but originally from Czech. I'm the one.
The only one, right? And what is your passion?
My passion is developing.
Developing what?
Developing myself, but also helping others to develop and working with organizations.
Thank you. Enjoy the process. A bit out of time, and we cannot allow ourselves to. No, we cannot allow ourselves, the world champion of public speaking, to wait. So let's do a very, very quick break of maximum 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Let's rearrange the room, and let's be back in 10 minutes. It will happen 5:15, maybe 5:30. But the question to you, and that mostly goes for the foreigners, do you have an option, a way how to get to Vilnius Cathedral? If you don't have an option or a way how to get there, please raise your hand now. Okay, we have some 10, maybe 12 people, so for you, we will order a taxi. So don't worry, you will have a way how to get there. Also, thanks for the suggestion. Of course, we will cooperate with the Lithuanians because we would like to use cross and we will thank you. But just in case, we will order 3 or 4 pieces of taxi. And now, our next workshop is a very, very special one, a special guest. This probably is the single reason why some of you came here today. a Toastmaster for almost 25 years, a person originally from Jamaica, a person who at the age of 80 migrated to the US with only $40 in his pocket and a dream for their life. Today, he has become one of the most popular inspirational speakers in the world. With my utmost pleasure, I introduce the Michael Jordan in the art of speaking. Atlanta, Georgia, USA, 1995 world champion in public speaking. Please welcome.
Michael Jordan. That's a scary thought. Michael, go away. Thank you. Wow. Am I really here? Am I really here? I've been with the way And I'm so happy you all came for a very special guest speaker, Andre Biscuit, right here, Andre. See, he knows I can pick on him because he is a leader. Show of hands. Where are the leaders today in the room? Show of hands. Oh, keep them there. Keep them there. And look, now listen. When I say hands, don't be doing. I don't like this unless, of course, you're doing not so good. Hands in the air. Now look around the room at those whose hands are not raised and tell them, stop lying. Because everyone here is a leader. Hands down. Hands down. If you didn't raise your hand, if you are a parent, you are a leader. If you are a husband or a wife, you are a leader. If you are a boyfriend, you are a follower. And I'd like to have some fun today and tell you this idea of being a good leader is not restricted to Toastmasters. So may I just be myself today, have some fun, and hopefully you will help me along this journey of finding out how leaders get things done. Now I know over the last 28.251397 hours, I've spent some time with some wonderful people here, and they've learned some very quirky things about me that I'm not very normal. I often meet people and say, hi, I'm Mark, and I'm strange. And they say, yes, I know. Because it shows. I find we have learning styles and learning skills in different ways. We can learn in so many different ways about anything in life, including leadership. And I'll tell you, I've learned some wonderful lessons in leadership from very unusual places. One of my favorite places to learn is from my family. I have a wonderful wife, I've told you, Andrea, my wife of 35 years. We have 3 wonderful brats, children. Our youngest child, David, is 22, very good. And he's married to his wife, Brianna, for 1 year this past March, 1 year married. And some people are like boomerangs. When he was 18, we tossed him out of the house. He was gone. And he came back. With a wife. And they live in my house. I'm learning about leadership. When your son comes home with his wife, you learn to be a good leader if you own a home. Our middle offspring, I shouldn't say child, Joel is 30 years old. He's a manager of human resources in the Washington, D.C. public school system. And our only daughter, who calls herself a princess, her name is Andreen. At the age of 33, she is an attorney. We knew that she'd be a lawyer when she was 8 years old. Her favorite phrase, Dad, you don't understand. And if I tell you I'm proud of my kids, I am. My youngest, David, is a musician, an artist, a singer, a drummer. He's talented. Our son, Joel, who is now in administration, was actually a school teacher, and he has not 1, but 2 master's degrees in education. Ooh, he's really smart, just like his mom. And, well, I did do one smart thing. I married my wife. And our daughter, Andreen, the oldest, the attorney, I will tell you this, he is the first, male or female, the first African-American senior attorney in her office in her branch of the U.S. government. So my kids are blessings to me in every way. And my toughest lessons in leadership came and still come from being their dad. And if you think it's about just being a Toastmaster or being at work, no, you learn in so many ways from so many people. And I've learned over the last several years some ways that leaders get things done. So are you ready to have some fun with how leaders get things done? Yeah. To make my life easy, I adopt some techniques that school teachers use. They use rhymes and alliteration to jog the memory. So I'm going to give you a couple of ways, well, not a couple, I'm going to give you 8 ways I think leaders get things done. And to make it easier for you, in English, all 8 end with the letters A-T-E, which sounds like 8. So that's going to be great. I bet you can't wait. Okay, so I found out one of the key ways leaders get things done is to help other people become successful. I call it educate. And I learned that lesson in many ways, but one particular way really got my attention. And that particular way was what people normally call American movies. I learned about leadership watching a very famous American movie, well, one of a series actually. It's very ironic, because the first in that series of movies was actually mentioned earlier today. This one is Rocky 3. That's a total coincidence that someone mentioned Rocky this morning. I mean, if you like Rocky, you've probably seen all 83 movies of his. But I learned a lesson about leadership watching Rocky 3. Who has seen the film Rocky 3? Oh, who has not seen Rocky 3? Tough, okay. I'll give you the Reader's Digest condensed version very quickly. In Rocky, the first movie, Rocky is a journeyman boxer, gets a chance to fight Apollo Creed for the world championship. And he loses, which tells you there's going to be a sequel. In the sequel, Rocky defeats Apollo Creed and wins. They both go down, and Rocky gets up before Apollo Creed. He wins by 1 second. And in Rocky 3, he must now defend his title against his fiercest competitor yet, a man named Clubber Lang, played by an inimitable actor, an audacious actor, who was known as Mr. T. I'll pity the fool, Mr. T, sucker! Yeah. And in this film, Rocky 3, Rocky confronts Clubber Lang, and Rocky is no match for him. Rocky is defeated. He's knocked out in the 3rd round, and to make things even worse, his trainer, his beloved trainer, Mickey, dies. And Rocky's life quickly spirals downhill. But he has to try to regain his title. He has to go and get a rematch against Clubber Lang, and he is failing. His mind is not right. He is despondent. He is not training right. And his wife reaches out to the most unlikely person to help him, Clubber Lang. Has to fight him, so he goes to Apollo Creed, the man who he defeated in the second movie, the man who was his biggest nemesis. And Apollo Creed now retires, takes over Mickey's role, and he trains Rocky for this fight. It's a struggle to go through training and running, and finally Rocky finds his legs. He is reborn, and he goes in that ring against the seemingly invincible Clubber Lang, and Rocky regains the world heavyweight boxing title. And the crowd cheers. What in the world does that have to do with leadership? You have to watch the last scene in the movie. Can you recall the final scene? In the final scene, Rocky and Apollo Creed go back to where it all began. A deep, dark, dank, dusty, disgusting gymnasium. No cameras, no movie cameras, no TV, no fans, nobody but 2 old warriors. And they strap on the gloves to spar one more time. And as they get into the ring, Apollo Creed says to Rocky, "I'm still young enough to whip your butt, Stallion." That was his nickname, Stallion. And of course, Rocky would not take that. So he says, Oh yeah, I go to bed, I told everything you know. Which means in English, well, how are you going to do that? You taught me everything you know. An Apollo Creed says two words that transformed my thinking. He said, almost everything. Now watch. You taught me everything you know. Almost everything. And in an instant, my mind began to race, and I realized that Apollo Creed had held back something from Rocky. Just enough to maintain the advantage. Let's bring that home to real life. Not just Toastmasters, but to our jobs, our livelihood. By show of hands, have you ever felt yourself in a place at work or even in Toastmasters where you believed someone was holding something back and preventing you from growing, either at work or in Toastmasters? How did that feel? Anybody, how did that feel? How did that feel? Feel bad? What else? What emotions come to your mind when you feel that? Be honest, okay? Don't. Angry? Frustrated? What else?
Disgusted.
Disgusted? Disappointed? Distressed?
You want to get better.
You want to get better, but they're holding you back.
Bullying the fight.
I say this to you. Perhaps you are at a place now where you are in a position to help someone, to help them to grow. Ask yourself, have I willingly or unwillingly, have I knowingly or unknowingly failed to tell someone else everything I know? And especially if you have a wish, if you had a hope that somebody you work with, somebody who you thought would mentor you, if they held back, knowing how that feels, are you now in a place where you perhaps are doing the same thing? As a leader, it is our responsibility to educate those who work with us, who serve with us. Why? As they get better and they grow in the workplace. If your team excels, who gets promoted? The team or you? Quite likely you. Because the boss says, you did a good job. Handle that team well. Let me give you greater responsibility. Who has seen or experienced that before? A good job done by you or your team, and you get rewarded. Don't be afraid to educate people who work with you. You want to be a good leader? Teach them what you know. My mentor in Toastmasters, his name is David Brooks. He's a 1990 world champion of public speaking. My mentor, I call him the master mentor. 27 years ago, he won the world title. He was my mentor, my coach in 95 when I won the world championship. And he told me several months after we began to work together, I want you to surpass me. I want you to be better than me. I want you to fulfill your full potential. But why don't we educate others? Why are we afraid to show what we know? Anybody? Why are we often afraid to do that?
Because we want to be perfect.
We don't want to be perfect. Okay. Jealous. What else?
Greedy.
Greedy.
Afraid that they will take our place.
Afraid that they will take bing, 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 bing. Afraid that they'll take your place. I say this. Give away the farm, American phrase. Give it away. You never know what potential you will unlock. Many people are afraid if I share what I know, they'll replace me and I'll be out. Be honest. Have you ever felt that way? I'll turn around, hands down. Have you ever felt somebody who was supposed to help you was doing just that? They're afraid? Yeah. And knowing how that feels, I want to tie emotion to everything today because we are emotional creatures. Knowing how that feels, give her a chance. I urge you, be like David Brooks, not like Apollo Creed. He said, I want you to surpass me. I want you to fulfill your fullest potential. Because in the long run, if you hold someone back beyond frustration, there's also stagnation, and there's also a sense of lower value. And no one wants to feel that. Give it away. Share your knowledge, share your expertise, share your experience. Let them know that you support them. So one key thing every leader should do is be willing to educate those who work with them. Today, on this stage, one of your leaders, your program quality director, stood here to educate you. That's what he was doing. Cornelia, with the wonderful chaos of the room, was educating us. Given a chance, educate those who work with you, not just in Toastmasters. Help them grow. Let them feel worth and value. That's how you get things done. When somebody feels that you support them, you encourage, you lift them, chances are they'll do even more for you. Who would agree with that? Oh wow, look around the room, all these hands. So why don't we do it? Well, I'm not afraid. But I'm so thankful I'm learning these things. I'm so thankful I found a great source. I'm so thankful I found movies. Even comedy is teaching lessons. There's one very popular American film. It's kind of old, but it's great to see how life is in the workplace. It's called Office Space. Has anyone seen that film, Office Space? A few of you. Oh, if you can, watch it. And ask yourself, is my office like this? And if it is, pray. Because in this particular office is one boss, Lumber. And he is going to walk over a cup of coffee every day, and he almost watches all his people, and there's one guy, Peter, who just can't stand the boss, because the boss always seems to bug him. Peter tries to go home from work, and he's stuck in that that gray wall with a desk and a computer, and he tries to get out of work and escape the boss's glare. And whenever he tries to escape, the boss always comes to him at the wrong time. And the boss is very slow talking, very easygoing, and he'll say things like, yeah, I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. It's a Friday, and the boss wants him to come in on Saturday. And oh yeah, I'm going to need you to come in again on Sunday. Okay, thanks, and walks away. Now how would you feel? It's the weekend. You want to leave work, and the boss tells you to come in tomorrow and Sunday. Who would say, oh yes, I love this? I don't see any hands. Yes, because you're your own boss, that's why.
If it's more money, why not?
But see, the thing is, he's not the best character in the film. But I learned one thing from him. He knew how to delegate responsibility. And even though Peter hated the fact that the boss would call on him, what the boss was telling Peter, Peter never got this, was he trusted Peter to get the job done. And maybe we might want to shift our thinking a little bit. Maybe if we think, oh, they always make me do extra work. Why? I got a life to live. I have a hot date tonight. I don't want to work late. But ask yourself, why would your leader ask you to do that job unless they knew you could do it? And when you find yourself in a place to lead others, how do you choose who gets what job done? There's also one issue with this idea of delegating. Here's the issue. For decades, for centuries perhaps, we've heard the idea, if you want the job done right, do it yourself. You told me that. I didn't say it. You said it. If you want the job done right, do it yourself. Right? Well, is that really right? No. What happens to you if you do everything yourself? Anybody?
Tired.
Tired? Exhausted?
No free time.
Dead. Walking dead. Right? You get burned out, you get frustrated, and you cannot perform to your potential. But so many of us feel, if I don't do it myself, it won't get done right, and then I get in trouble. Who has ever felt that before? Thank you. Today I have I got one big goal today. One big, hairy, audacious goal. That is to get you to change the way you think about leadership, about your role as a subordinate and as a leader. And find ways together to be better at this. Some leaders do not delegate. They refuse, no, not going to do it. Because it's up to me. If it's to me, it's up to me. Right? If you want it done right, do it yourself. Or ask a busy person. The key to delegating your responsibilities is knowing who you're working with. How well do you know the people you work with? How well do you really know them? How well do you know their skills, their potential? Do you take time to get to know, to understand what their gifts are? Do you get it? Do you really get it? And any leader knows you may have a team of 3 or 4 or 10, and you have to know who can handle what and deal with their personalities. Oh, joy. I became a manager in computer programming when I was 26 years old. I had a staff of 5 people, 5 subordinates, 5 people who were all older than I was. And I had to know how each person thought. But I had to know what each person could do and delegate responsibilities. It's a scary part. Sometimes it's wise to delegate responsibilities to somebody else who may not think they can do it. By show of hands, were you ever, either at work, in Toastmasters, in any area of your life, given a responsibility that you thought you could not fulfill? Okay, show of hands, thank you. By show of hands, did you surprise yourself? Anybody? Wait a second. That's in a theory. I had 18 hands first, I had 20 hands now. So somebody's lying to me. Okay. You thought you couldn't do it. You were scared, yes. You thought I may lose the job, yes. But you did it. How come? Perhaps you were better than you thought initially. Here's the thing. As a leader, can you identify in someone else what they do not see in themselves? Can you say, I see something in you? Oh, that enjoy my friend. Oh. David Brooks, my mentor, he said to me in a letter, he wrote a letter to me, and he said in his letter, although our contact so far has been limited to only a few brief exchanges, your words and manner lead me to believe that you are a talented speaker and one with whom I would be honored to confer. After I closed my dictionary, I realized that he saw something in me and I did not see myself. So here's my key point about delegating. If you see potential, test it, offer the responsibility, and allow them to fail, but allow them to grow. A good leader will educate, a good leader will delegate. A good leader will also know to what level to participate. What does that mean? You give someone a task to do, and you say, get it done. Right? That's their job, do it. But with different individuals, the level of involvement is going to be different. Some people, you can say run, they get, and they run, they go, they're gone, they do it. Others need some more coaxing. Others need some encouragement. Perhaps you, when you first began a new task, had to get encouraged, had to get a little help. The key is to know who needs what. How do you know that? How can you possibly tell who needs what? How do you know what level to what? How do you know? How do you know? Anybody?
Listen. Intuition.
Listen, intuition. That's good. What else?
Observe.
Ask questions.
Observation.
Observation. What else?
Invest time with your team.
Invest time with your team. That's good. Well, the trick is to know what level, right? You want to be a part, not a pest. You want to know when to fit. Well, so here's my answer for you. One of the keys to know what level to participate is to do what my old boss, I'll call him Belli. And I'll call him Belli because his name is Belli. And he hired me back in 1998 to work for his company, giving talks all across North America. I'll tell you what he did one day. I've been in the company maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and my wife, Angela, my young son, David, 98, he's probably 3 years old, had come for lunch. And Tom was in the office that day, and he had left his office, he was going to go to a meeting. How do I know? He had a folder, business life. And Tom was, now forgive me, I don't know metric, but Tom's a big guy. He was 6'4", 300 pounds. Big old guy. Hey, Juan, good to see you. Hi, Tom, good to see you. Oh, handshake, yeah, good to see you. Ouch. So, Mark, who's this? Oh, Tom, my wife, Andrea. Hi, Tom. And who's that? My son. What's your name, son? I'm David. How old are you, David? I'm 4 years old. Well, he was 3. I said, hey, Dave, do you like toys? Come here, David. And Tom took my son to his office. I looked at my boss's assistant and said, where's he going? She went. So I was curious, and I went to the office door, I looked in, and to my surprise, there was Tom, 6'4", 300 pounds, on the floor with my 3-year-old son, playing with him. Isn't that fun? Great. Tell you what, you keep this as a gift from me. Okay, buddy? And in that moment, something clicked in my heart. Tom Belli, Chief Executive Officer, the company president, on his way to an important meeting, had taken 5 minutes of his time to get to know my wife and to play with my 3-year-old son. And I realized that there was one thing that was important to Tom. Beyond my working for him, he saw the value of building a relationship. Because Tom knew how to relate to people. I learned that Tom Belli would actually call every employee on their birthday because he knew their birthdays. He'd send cards every Christmas to the employees. If somebody had a concern, Tom would take care of it. Because Tom saw the value of learning how to relate with people. And when you relate to people, then you understand what level of involvement you need. I wonder how many of us work so hard to get the job done. People we work with, or people who work with us, or people who work for us, are just a task, just a number, just a responsibility. How well do you relate to your team? How well do you get to know your team? I mean, I was surprised to think about this. I've asked people at a corporate level about this topic. I said, do you know your employee who you're so concerned about, who you think is not doing so well? Do you know his wife's name? No. Is he married? I think so. When he was out for 3 days, do you know why? He said something about his kid, but I don't know what it was. His kid. Perhaps that kid had leukemia. I'm not saying know every detail about your lives. But you know what? I made myself a promise that day. There was nothing that Tom Belli would ask me to do that I would say no to. Because he cared about me as a person. He saw me as a husband. He saw me as a father, not just as an employee. How do you see the people who work with you, who work for you, who serve on your team, within your area, within your division, within your district? How do you see people who spend time, invest time to serve you? How do you see people, how well do you know people who are up for hours and hours to prepare, help you put together a good conference? How well do you relate to your fellow Toastmasters who are in your club, who is struggling to be a good club president or a good club treasurer? How well do you understand their lives and their struggles? Do we build relationships? See, we're guilty. We're guilty as Toastmasters often of wondering and wishing and wanting what the program can do for us. If we're honest, I want to be a better speaker. I want to be a better leader. I want to grow. I want to. But how often do we say, I want to build good relationships, build my club members as people? And if we do that together, the entire club grows. The area grows. Division K grows. It's a matter of how we think, how we see our role as leaders. Yes. Educate. Delegate. Participate. Relate. But Mark, you don't get it. People I work with, even in my club, it's hard to get them motivated. Who has heard that before? Who has said that before? Who was thinking that like right now? But they're not even here. They live only 2 miles away. I don't know. How do you motivate people? I don't have all the answers. But it's important to motivate people in some way. But I learned one key lesson regarding this. And here it is. I'm going to come down and tell you this. I cannot motivate anybody in this room. Now, I wish you could see what I see. I'm going to back up. I'm going to rewind all of that. Okay, good. believe I just did that. And it worked. Says, can you repeat that, please? Okay. I said, I cannot motivate anybody in this room. And somebody did. Have you ever seen a confused dog? Where'd it go? Remember? Someone in this room just went, and I'm not even going to look at her at all. I would not point her out. I would not do that. I would never do that. I must ask you, you went, question, why did you respond in that way?
Because I want you to motivate me. You are already motivated.
Because you want me to motivate you. Here's a mistake we make. We mistake inspiration for motivation. I hope to inspire you. But motivation, that which pushes us forward, has to come from within us. You must desire to move forward. I can preach to you all I want. I can become an American preacher. And you all must do better. You must teach it. Oh, yes. I can do all that. It would mean nothing unless you in your heart desire to change, desire to move. So it's a tricky word to say, motivate. But to motivate, you want to inspire people to be better, to be more active, to be more productive. How do you motivate? Let me ask you this. How do you motivate people in your company or your district or your club? How do you motivate other people? Help me out, somebody. I'm not going to preach, I need help. How do you motivate?
Paint a picture of a better situation.
You paint a picture of a better situation. Yes. What else?
Listen to them.
You listen to them, that's helpful. But no, I'm not saying concept. I'm asking you what you actually do to motivate your team. Not just in Toastmasters, in your life.
Working.
So what does that mean though?
Emotionally, like good job or something.
Oh, so just use kind words. Okay, what else?
By your own example of doing this.
You lead by example. Interesting. Well, setting a goal is one, but how do you get them to follow it? To follow through? What do you do in your life to motivate people on your team? Really? I mean, I want to know.
Challenge.
You give, you share responsibility. How do you challenge them? For example, I want to get practical. For example, how do you do that? Like?
About what they want to do.
Okay, you want to know what their goals are. So one way to motivate people is to find out what their goal is and have them understand their why. Notice, understand their why. I'll talk about that some more tomorrow, so be there for that program. You can often motivate people by letting them understand the benefit of doing what you ask them to do. And great motivators somehow can let people think that their idea is their own idea. Yeah. Some may call them master manipulators, but but I tell you what, Tom Belli, by his demeanor, by showing he cared about me, I said before, I knew there was nothing he would ask me to do that I would say no to, as long as it was legal, ethical, and morally right. And in 10 years, he never did, thankfully. But I knew that his treatment of my wife, my child, and me, his care and concern for me, his genuineness, his desire to build a relationship, let me feel valued. How do you motivate people? One way is to let them feel valued. Not as a job, not as a role, but as a human being. Show you care about them. Can you do that? Don't answer me. Just search your heart and ask yourself, do you do that? I saw a movie called The Intern. I love movies. And the boss assistant said this, I bust my butt for her 14 hours a day, and she never noticed this. On a show of hands, have you ever felt like that before? You work so hard and nobody seems to care. That's not very motivational. And all she had to do was one thing: show appreciation. Let me ask you this. How do you, within your club, within your area, within this division, at work, how do you show appreciation to people who work with you or work as your subordinates who report to you? What do you do? Anybody? What do you do?
Feedback sessions.
What's that?
Feedback sessions.
Feedback sessions. Now that phrase is a wonderful phrase, but it scares some people. You know why? The human brain is a funny thing. I have not studied the human brain. People wonder if I have one myself, because my brain is kind of weird. When some people hear feedback session, they interpret it as, okay, what did I do wrong now? Who believes that? Look at that, wow. And sometimes all it takes is using different language to describe the event. We had a thing called team building exercises. I had a company I worked for 20 years ago. And what that meant was, it's going to sound crazy, it meant one afternoon, put everything down, pizza and a movie. And the boss paid for everything herself. That was not only appreciation, that was motivation. Keep doing this, I get more pizza. And that's what happened when you had more pizza. Because you eat pizza, and you eat pizza, and you eat pizza, and all of a sudden your stomach gets bigger, like a pump, you know, like. And pretty soon you get out of bucket. There you go. Okay. I have no idea why I did that, but I did it. Okay. Here's a question. How do you really show your appreciation? And it need not be big. It could be a thank you card.
Promotion.
That's big. I'll take that. But it need not be big. It could be a thank you card. Because some people, just the acknowledgement of a job well done, to them is inspirational. Who agree with that? Yes? Yes. You were saying?
I wanted to mention a hug.
A hug? Hugs are good, but understand, not everyone's a hugging. Don't touch me. Who has seen that before? Don't. Be very careful. But sometimes it's the opposite of what people do. Sometimes the person in charge, when something goes wrong, they have to correct an employee or subordinate, and they do that in public. What's the principle? Praise in public, reprimand in private. You should all know this by now. If you don't, write it down. Praise in public, reprimand in private. And remember, you're dealing with human beings, don't just blast them. Try to understand where they're coming from. And make it a process of support and development. Help them grow through the failure, because we all grow through failure. It's how we respond to them and how they respond to us. How they respond to us. That brings me to one more point. We did educate, delegate, participate, relate, motivate, appreciate. Two more. That's 7, right? Carry on 7. 2 more.
Educate.
That was number 1. I had educate, delegate, participate, relate, motivate, appreciate. So number 7 of the 8 is this one. It comes from a movie, all right. 1966, I think it was. Cool Hand Luke, with a man named Paul Newman in the lead role. Made famous, this one line. What we've got here is failure to communicate. Famous line, famous movie. What we got here is failure to communicate. Guns N' Roses, okay? I wonder how many of our issues or concerns stem from failure to communicate effectively. Here's the irony. We are Toastmasters. We are supposed to be able to communicate better. Listen, it's in the afternoon, I want to make sure you're still awake, okay? We ought to communicate clearly. And yet so often, things go wrong, we fail to communicate. I've been the victim of that, my own failure, several times. I worked for a bank in New York City in 1981 as a bank teller. And then one late night, open till like 8 p.m., and they had a long day, and they give you supper time, and they even give you money for supper. And I was told by my manager to go for supper I said, Mark, today, your supper time, 5 to 6. I said, thank you, boss. At 5:20, my boss came to me and said, Mark, why are you still here? I said, it's not supper time yet. What do you mean? You told me supper was 5 to 6. 5 minutes to 6, right? Not at 5 to 6, Mark. From 5 to 6. I lost 20 minutes of my supper time because I didn't understand what they were saying. Show of hands. Have you ever, at work, in Toastmasters or in your own home, been a victim of poor communication? Thank you. Oh, wow, everyone's hands are up. Okay. Let me ask you one more question. I must confess I've got a pet peeve, okay, about communication. We have used a popular phrase across the world that really just gets me hard. It's 4 letters. A-S-A-P. What does that mean? Yes, but what does that really mean?
Now.
Yesterday.
Wait. Who said now? Who said yesterday? I'll tell you very quickly what it really means. It means as soon as possible for me, based upon my current set of priorities that you have supplied. Watch this carefully. If someone says, I need that report, I need that finance report ASAP, they totally disregard everything else you're doing. So what does ASAP really mean? To me, it's as soon as I can get to it. And I can't get to it till Tuesday morning at 9:30. So don't say ASAP, be specific. Communicate clearly. We've all been victims of misunderstanding. But how many times can you recall, show of hands, a simple verbal misunderstanding cost you a day or 2 or a week? Okay, hang on now. A day, a 2 or 2 or a week in business, what might that translate to? Okay, now, let's go a little deeper. Like how much, for example?
Depends on the business side.
Exactly. It could be 100,000 euros. It could be 5 euros. It could be millions of euros. Because we fail to communicate. And too often what we have here is fail to communicate. And we also have an issue with that when it comes to how we often communicate using electronic devices. Anybody, show of hands, ever get caught in an email war, back and forth, emails, back and forth, CC, blind CC, and then more people know it? All it took is go from this to this. We have SMS, we have email. Guess what? It's also a phone. You actually call someone and talk with them. Show of hands. Have you ever been involved in an email exchange that lasted for days that could have been solved with a phone call? Be honest. Put it up in the air. Look. Hello? It's time for us to understand we're Toastmasters. We've got to communicate clearly. And to be good leaders, we must educate. We must delegate. We must participate, we must relate, we must motivate, we must appreciate, we must communicate. And all of that comes through when we choose to do one more thing. One more thing. I have 3 minutes to share this thought. It comes from a movie called Glory. Denzel Washington was in the movie, and so was Morgan Freeman. It's about in USA Civil War and a group called the 54th from Massachusetts involved in the Civil War. And Colonel Robert Gould Shaw, the young man in charge, he was 27 years old. And they had to fight an important battle. They were sent to attack a fortress. And there's no way they were going to win. But that young man went to the front of the line and said, forward 54th, forward. I watched the film and again something hit me. Some leaders are wonderful at delegating and they'll tell you what to do, go do it, go do it, go do it. But he went in front. He led the way. Do you lead the way as a leader? Do you really lead or do you just delegate? Do you only just send somebody up there? Do you know what's involved? Someone said earlier, be an example. That's huge. A good leader will lead. And a good leader also knows, while they may not know everything, they must educate themselves to be better leaders. And it all comes from an act of dedication. Educate, delegate, participate, relate, motivate, appreciate, communicate, and delegate. Yes, my brain is weird. I learn from movies. I learn from my kids. I learn in really strange ways. But I tell you what, all I can ask you to do is this. Look at what you do every single day. Look at your role in your club. Look at your role in your family. Look at your role where you work and ask yourself, am I equipped to be a leader? Chances are, you may think you're not, but if you dig deep and reflect on all the times you were given a task you thought you couldn't accomplish, but you surprised yourself. Think also of those who you might be holding back without wanting to because you didn't think they could do it. But give them a chance to grow. As they grow, you'll grow too. Because we are, after all, Toastmasters, where leaders are made. And it is my hope that when the weekend is over, you'll find a renewed passion for audacious leadership, and you'll find within this room people who you will relate to, who you will get to know, and I have one final word of encouragement. We have a great opportunity here to meet people who you've not met before from different parts of the division, different parts of the world. Use the time we have together, especially social time, to interact, learn ideas, find out best practices, enjoy social time, but use it as a chance to grow as a leader. And I can't wait a year or 5 from now, should I have life left, to hear about the wonderful things you have done because of your passion for leadership. It is my honor, my blessing, my privilege to serve you today. I can't wait until tomorrow. Leaders all, keep that passion alive. Andrews.
I will have a present for you, a small one, this is a souvenir about Vilnius. You can show that to your beautiful Andrea and your kids. And also, coming back to the lottery thing, can you help us somehow to come up with some random number? You probably have a story about that.
A random number? No, I'm a random person. Let's see. There is a number that's important to me. Because this past Monday was my anniversary. It was the what? But my birthday is going to be in August. It's August 17. My anniversary is April 17. So if your number is 17,
But let's take it one step further. The present actually had another present, and that present, and since you are the winner, and the present I just came up with is a question to Mark. How about that? Do you have a question?
She gets to ask anything she wants?
Anything she wants.
Yikes. No, I'm married, sorry, I can't. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I didn't prepare for that.
Take the topics, come on, right? Turn on, yes.
Okay, so my question is, what would be only one sentence that you
you would say for a person that you believe in to inspire to do more?
One sentence. Oh, it's my favorite topic today. Okay. One sentence that I would offer to inspire someone to be better tomorrow than they are today. Let me think. That's how I think. I'm glad you asked the question, Madam Topic Master. One sentence. Can I copy Aaron Beverly with a long title for his speech? 7 words. One sentence. It may be difficult for you to understand this now, but I know in the depths of my being that you have the potential to be better tomorrow than you are today. But you will not fulfill that potential unless you give yourself permission to try, to fail, and to try again. Because I know from my own life, my own experience, that you have no idea what your best is. And the only way to find out is to keep moving forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching, the official part is approaching its end now soon. But don't forget that tomorrow we will have another day, and tomorrow we will have the international evaluation competition. We again have 5 people participating, and we will have to select one who we will delegate to compete in Berlin. We will also have Mark Brown speaking tomorrow. Once again, we will have Andrei Popescu speaking once again. We will have awards tomorrow. We will have a surprise for you tomorrow. We will have many things for you tomorrow. In the meantime, I think the official part of the conference is now over, but the day is not over. So what we will do now, those of you who wish, at 5:30 we are gathering at the Vilnius Cathedral for a tour, guided tour, which is called, once again, the theme is the Legends of the Vilnius. Then a small break of 1 hour to 1 hour and a half, and at 8 o'clock, and Uncle Sam. All of you are invited for the dinner, and 10 o'clock, Papa Latino for the passion party. So to close this, I would like to close it the way I started. I would like all of you to rise and make a passionate hug to your guy next to you, someone next to you.